Our former boss, Bob Wright. He served as president and CEO of NBC. He also co-founded Autism Speaks.
I had no idea that he was vaccinated without my knowledge or consent. When he was 2 months old was the worst time. He got 6 vaccines in one visit. He was screaming like somebody was killing him for 12 hours. And he had a fever of 104, and he wouldn't do anything for that entire time except scream. Screams, and then he just passed out after 12 hours.
Do childhood vaccines cause autism? What's the definitive answer?
And then I went back to my pediatrician after that, and she assured me that was, maybe more on the extreme, but a normal reaction and nothing to be concerned about.
There is no definitive answer, but we have not been able to determine that autism is caused by vaccines.
And it's amazing to me to this day that I believe that, and yet I did, and we continued vaccinating him.
However, there are lots of issues having to do with the vaccine safety program.
Unequivocally, you have studied vaccinated versus unvaccinated.
We have not studied vaccinated versus unvaccinated.
Okay. Never mind. So just stop there. That was the meaning of my question.
And we proposed, along with a series of doctors, some changes that could be made. If vaccine safety, it's a passive program, and if you made it an active program, I think that would make it better for everybody. But it's
so painful. It's just beyond painful to think that I, as his mother, took him to the pediatrician. I held him down, screaming, and allowed this to happen to him. I mean, it's so hurtful for me to think about that. I really fought it. I fought it for probably a year.
I understand when your grandson was diagnosed, Christian.
He was 2.5.
Right, and there really wasn't a place to turn back then. People weren't talking about autism the way they talk about it today.
When he was 2, he started losing language, and he would look at me with these blank looks. I remember looking online at the conventional sources that a parent would look to for advice, and of course they were all very reassuring. Of course, it has nothing to do with vaccines, and it's perfectly safe. And
there's a film out now. One of the people behind it is Dr. Andrew Wakefield.
He's so much better, thank goodness, because of Dr. Wakefield and Dr. Kriegsman, but I only wish he could have gotten the help he needed it too, rather than we didn't meet Dr. Wakefield and Dr. Kriegsman until he was almost 5. And those were 3 years of hell. Yeah. He was sick all the time, in and out of hospitals. His GI problems were horrific.
What has been consistently shown is that the findings in that paper were absolutely correct. That what we see is that children with autism, particularly those with the regressive autism, very commonly have some sort of gastrointestinal distress. That's the most common finding now in autism research.
There is $100 million a year that the vaccine court pays out to people from damages with vaccines, not specifically autism, but a lot of them. So there's always going to be an issue with vaccines because all vaccines are the same and all people receiving them are different.
Before Christian was vaccinated, I had a friend and she's like, "You're not getting vaccinated, are you?" And I'm like, "Of course I am. I'm not one of those loony vaccine people," and it's so humbling. And guess whose child's not autistic?
If a parent watching this now says, "Just give me one, where shall I start? What shall I do?"
Meet other parents with children like yourself, because it's so isolating just going to doctor after doctor and feeling like you get no answers and no help.
The diagnosis took like 3 or 4 days at Columbia, and I was on the board, and it cost me $12,000. And they said, "I'm sorry, we really, we don't treat autism. We don't have any tools, and we don't have, quite frankly, any reimbursement from insurance. So you really can't get treated here. You have to go out and find therapists and do
You're on your own, basically, is what they were saying.
You're on your own.